We all have seen the commercials, whether it is Jennifer Gardner or Alec Baldwin. It's a credit card commercial that always asks the very same question: what's in your wallet? Now, I thought about this, and really the question I want to ask is what's in your closet. In fact, today I am in our closet, and I don't want to show you what's below here. And I know if my wife sees this and sees me shooting in here, she'll be like, "What's wrong with you?" Here's the thing, and here's the reason I wanted to talk about what's in our closet. Because our closet tells a story. It tells a story. It tells a lot of stories, actually. It talks about our preferences, our style, our kind of the transition of our lives. My personal side of this closet here tells a lot about me. In fact, most, if not all, of the clothes that are on my side of the closet no longer fit me. All right, no longer. I mean, I'm not saying that they are just loose. They just completely haven't fit me for a while because of my own transition and through some of the weight loss that I've been going through. And so that is, then the question then should be, why is my closet still full of the same clothes or the clothes that no longer fit me? Why am I holding on to them, and why do I still have them in my closet? So what's in your closet? And I want to talk about the physical aspect, but I think there's some psychological and some spiritual impact of our spiritual closet or psychological closet that we can navigate through, or at least trying to have some understanding with. So again, these clothes no longer fit me, and I have a bunch of them down here on the floor that no longer fit me. And then again, we ask the question: why are they still in my closet? Why are they still there? A couple of reasons. One, I'm not ready to part with them, even though they don't fit. I want to hold on to them for whether it's nostalgia or a sense of I really like this shirt at one time, or I like this suit at one time, or I just bought it not too long ago. I haven't gotten all the uses out of it. No, that's one reason. The other reason is, for me personally, I am not ready. I'm not ready financially, nor am I ready at my end goal to really go on and get this new wardrobe set up. And so I'm kind of in between, as we talked about this past Sunday. I'm in between from where I used to be to a place where I am now, but I am not yet at the position. And so I have a few choices or decisions that I need to make in this process. The other thing about this closet is that the fact that I am holding on to things that no longer fit me is that it's the sense of nostalgia, as I mentioned before, but I'm refusing to let go of things that are no longer of any purposes to me. They serve me no good. And really, if you understand the reason, the design, the intent of a shirt, the design of a suit, it means absolutely nothing. No one really cares about my closet. But what happens is that when I put a piece of clothing on and I go out, whether it's people who are watching say, okay, here's this style here, that talks about a couple things. One, it talks about my preference and my choosing and my style, but it doesn't do anything if it's just sitting in the closet. And so the second thing that it does is that it talks about the designer, right? Now, we don't ask about the designer so much. The question that we often ask is that, where did you get this from? If we see something that we really like on somebody, we ask the question, where did you get it from? And so really, while we're not talking about the designer, we're not talking about the producer, we are talking about the avenue in which that clothes, that piece of clothing, that shirt, that dress, that gown, whatever it is, can be procured, can be found, or can be looked at. Maybe you say Amazon, maybe you say Target, maybe you say whatever it is. But ultimately, if I don't wear it, it doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't bring glory to its designer. The designer, in one sense, already been paid. They already got their money. But for me to not wear it and for me to hold on to it, I'm not helping anybody. And so there are a couple of things, and just really by way of making this video a little bit shorter than what it could be, there are a couple of things that I need to do. I need to realize, again, if I'm not where I need to be, nor am I where I used to be, there are certain decisions that I need to make now. So here's one thing that I started doing. And knowing that there were a lot of the clothing that were no longer fitting me, I bought a sewing machine. I bought a sewing machine so that, one, I can make some small alterations that will still allow me to wear the things that I really have come to love or come to enjoy wearing. The problem with that is that, one, I'm not that good of a tailor. And so I had to learn a lot. The learning curve was tremendous in trying to figure out, okay, well, where do I cut? Where do I kind of merge together? And there are a lot of clothes that I have ripped open and have not been able to put back together, because that is not, while it is frugal in my mind, it is not necessarily the best thing, because I've wasted time, but I've also wasted clothes that I cannot now fix. And so I can try to put it together and trying to make sure, again, it's all about trying to hold on to some things that no longer have a purpose. So what can I do? One, I can recognize that this is not helping me, nor is it helping the designers, nor is it helping somebody else who may be in need. And so I can hold on to these as much as possible and still have stuff up here that no longer fit. Or I can clear out my closet and produce it or bring it somewhere else where somebody else can be helped with it. You get that? It can stay here and serves no purpose other than keeping my closet full with stuff that I can't use. Or I can pack it, give it away where it can be used for someone else. We are, to a large degree, are consumers. We consume things, we get things, we collect things. And we will get as much of it as we can. And if it's available, it's accessible. If we can get it, we will get it and load it all up in our closet. That's both the psychological aspect. We accumulate knowledge, we accumulate a sense of status, we accumulate a sense of position, and those things, even when they don't have any purposes, no longer serves a purpose in our lives. We still want to hold on to them because, hey, we worked hard for them. I mean, spend a lot of money. If you look at your closet, you've spent thousands of dollars over years to just kind of really keep it up to date and keeping yourself in a position where you feel comfortable. But again, storing it doesn't mean anything. What's the spiritual thing? Well, the spiritual aspect of this is this, that there's been a lot of things that God has blessed us with. And we are happy to be blessed. But yet, we are hoarding the blessings. And I'm not just talking about giving away money or there are spiritual things that we have. Every spiritual gift that we have, they are not for us to store in a place where we can now function, or at least come in every now and then, check them out and say, wow, this is really good. It means absolutely nothing until it is used for its intended purpose. And so what's in your closet? What's in your spiritual closet? The same question is what is in your physical closet. There's a rule that I heard, and I've yet to apply it in my own life, is that every time you bring something new in, you should take something old out. I don't know if you've heard that or if you ever try that. And so if you go out and buy a new shirt, and the only reason and the only way for you to keep that new shirt is to go in your closet and take an old shirt and move it out. I am looking forward to the day when I can really clear all of this out. Like I said, I would say about 99% of the clothes that's behind me no longer fit me. And I need to get rid of them. And so I need to go through a cleansing process, an emotional process by which I can say, this is not serving me no longer serving its purpose in my life. Why am I holding on to it? You know, are you that one where you say, well, someday? Well, I don't want to say someday. And it relates to this. I don't want to go back to what this was, where I was wearing the size that I was wearing. I went from a 2XL to sometime 3XL, depending on the material, to now I can put on a medium-sized shirt or a large-sized shirt and feel pretty comfortable. I don't want to go back to that. But the longer I keep these in, that keeps me tethered to what I once was. Now, it's okay to hold on to certain things for the purpose of testimonial, to say, this is who I was. But this is not good. And so I want to challenge you today to think about what is it that is in your spiritual closet that needs to be removed or be used for its intended purposes. What are the psychological things that you've been holding on to that you need to let go of so that you can be free to make room for the new? But I think the same way, what are some of the physical, material things that's in our closet that no longer has any purpose? I mean, you haven't worn that dress for the last, or 5 years ago, or since 5 years ago. It's still there. There are clothes here, I can't tell you the last time I wore them. My gold suit that I've held on for a long time serves no purpose. And so I hope that you would go through a process by which you would evaluate what are the things that I'm holding on to and that I need to let go of. And so let me ask you this question. What's in your closet? I hope you are blessed, and I hope that you are doing well, and that God is continuing to speak to you and anchoring. You are anchored in Him as He's anchoring you in His Son. All right. This weekend we are continuing through the book of John. We'll be looking at John chapter 20, where we are. Last week we were on Saturday, and this week we'll jump into what Sunday was like. So we talked about Saturday being the in-between period of our lives, where there are opportunities that's there for us to serve, for us to worship still, even though that we are devastated and we are still tethered to Friday, but yet to experience a Sunday morning experience. But what happens when we come to the Sunday morning experience? We'll talk about that this weekend. Pray for me as I prepare for this message. I know it's still, we are 4 months in, and really, again, every time I think about this, I never thought we'll be this long. And so we are in this 4 months in, and it doesn't really look like we are seeing any light at the end of the tunnel, although we are making some progress. It's statewide, nationwide, while there are some ups and downs. So we're continuing this, and I want to continue to encourage you to be the church, because the church was never intended to be the four walls of the building. It is you and me, and where 2 or 3 are gathered, even through Zoom, He is in our midst. And I hope and pray that you are being encouraged, feel that we are connected as much as possible as we gather together. Continue to give as you give, whether it is online or dropping a check or your offering at the church. Would love for, we appreciate and are encouraged by your generosity. Please continue to do so. You can give online by going to stroudsburg.church/give, and that will give you, you can follow the steps, and you will be able to give or set up some kind of regular recurring payment through that process. As I always, or at least I try to do, I want to ask you to check in with one another. I pray and hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are staying engaged through the various opportunities and relationships that we have. Our Bible study continues. Our Friday noontime prayer continues. So I hope you can jump in and join us in this. So before I close this video, I want to do somewhat of an unofficial survey. And ask you a couple questions, and feel free to give some feedback. Again, as you're watching through whether it's YouTube on your phone or your computer, you can interact within the comments, and or you can shoot us a text or email. Here are a couple questions that I want you to think about. Give us some feedback on. Over the past 4 months, as we've been in this quarantine lockdown, stage. Question number one is, what have you missed other than gathering together physically as a body? What have you missed the most as a church? Okay, so other than gathering together physically, which we know is an essential part of our fellowship, what have you missed through our experience or as a church? Second question is, how do you think we're doing in leadership, responding to this COVID-19 life that we've been in over the past 4 months? How are we doing? And even as we are asking this question, I want to leave it open as well. What can we do better? What can we do to help you or help this local expression to become fuller, closer together? Thirdly, I want you to think about this question very fairly, knowing where things are and perhaps where things may be heading. How ready are you to gather together again? Okay? How ready are you to gather together again in a local building, body? I know the state, currently we are in the green phase. Now, the green phase doesn't really mean a whole lot for us because of our demographic, age-wise, and our demographic, race-wise, that there's still this looming episode that can still hit us. We are seeing about 24 other states right now who are still in this resurgence aspect of this virus. So, so how ready are you to resume or to gather together again? So think about these three questions. You can feel free to rewind and go back and take a look at those questions again. But I would really appreciate your feedback. If you could help us with that, will give us some ways to progress forward. And I am looking forward to what else we can do. As always, I'm looking for ways for us to be more impactful as a church. Now, I know this may be strange still, even though 4 months in, to be worshiping at home, but unfortunately, it is where we are. So I want to encourage you to, one, continue to be engaged. Two, find ways to keep it fresh. Allow yourself to do the very same things that you would do if you were coming to a building. So get up, get dressed, get your breakfast, whatever you need to do. The beauty of this is that the rush is limited because you don't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about getting in your car, driving. It's whether you're walking up the stairs, down the stairs, or just walking to wherever you are able to worship with us. And so I want to encourage you to find ways. Lastly, or thirdly, I want you to pick up the challenge. Pick up the challenge of inviting people and saying, hey, would you be part of our worship? And I know many of you have done that and are doing that, and I want to encourage you to keep doing this as we continue together. So I pray that you are doing well, and if there is anything that we can do for you, with you, please do not hesitate to call on us. All right. I believe the women's meeting went out last week, was great. I believe men's meeting this weekend. And so if you're a man and you want to join us, please feel free to hit us up, contact Brother Maurice, and he will make sure that you have all the information necessary. Okay. God bless you. Have a fantastic rest of your week in the Lord. I hope to see you again soon. God bless.